loving, caring, and they abuse the confidence of that child.
So I told him I was late and I was going to church by then. So I want to take a leave. And as soon as I stood up, he pulled my bag. And he started fighting with me. I wasn't strong by then. He's a boxer. I wasn't all that strong by then. So it was like he torn my tra and my top, and there was no one in the house by then. I was shouting, crying, but it seems there was no help coming. So he raped me.
Currently, when she's put before court, the entire society will ask the question, what do you do? Because it is your fault that you've been raped, which I find so offensive.
I had a case where a woman came to me. She has been coming constantly complaining of pelvic pain. We have treated her with various antibiotics. She was not getting relief, so I just decided to go beyond the medical aspect to ask about her life, her relationship. And the woman put it in simple language. What he said is that when my husband lies on me, I just start praying that he finish and gets off. And you could see that this woman is just, having an affair which he doesn't like at that moment, which although might be difficult to name it as people don't want to hear, to me it's a form of rape, although it's a partner or it's a husband. Because from rape, the definition of rape is having sex against your will when you don't agree with it. So because of that woman was going through, she was persistently coming and complaining that he's having some infection, he's having discharge. So you could see the impact on this woman's mind.
Number one, they have been traumatized by someone they trust in an environment that should be an environment of protection. Number two, they have been warned not to recount what has happened to them. And so they are confused. What has happened to them is unpleasant. And yet they are told not to report it, or something will befall them, or they will never see the perpetrator, who may be a relative, again. Number three, they are re-traumatized by being disbelieved when they do report. Number four, they're sometimes told that they are the bad people. And if they did not entice the perpetrator, he would not have raped or defiled them. So they are traumatized over and over and over again. This is not even to talk about the physical damage, the injury that they experience, and the pain they go through, and the humiliation, being made to feel dirty.
When he raped me, he forced it, so I was bleeding. He locked me in the room and went out to pick a taxi. He brought the taxi and he told me to go home. I did not go home. I went to a hospital near our house and I was transferred to the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital for treatment. I have to pay some amount before any treatment can be made. So I was there. I was bleeding. That's why I was bleeding.
They come to the clinic. They don't have money on them, and it ends like that because first the doctor who is filling that form, for the medical form, the doctor has a fee to charge. Then for you to really give the diagnosis and really confirm the situation, there are some laboratory, especially in cases where there is defilement or the rape, there you have to do some investigation.
If you look on your way, maybe the first time, in a rape trying to say, don't call it serious. It was if you are anybody. Second one, in any fear, a cop drain lumo that you don't name in a trying the back. In party, if I feel blank party hospital. In the occasion, machine.
Think about the relief that this bill will give to the 30% of Ghanaian women who are victims of violence, and maybe the 5% of Ghanaian men who are victims of violence, and the countless children who are suffering silently. They're all pleading with you that this is your chance to make a difference in their lives.
Mrani government take about domestic violence bill. Miss Mugakeni government take about ni ehia ofen because ni bi come ba ni esani mini wa ka shoke you epa you wa ka shike we pa eyin e ko local problem bi o ni ke ji la kan domestic violence bill ne ba awon ya chewo na ko wa tashin na ko wa wi.
If a particular conduct is illegal when you are unmarried, it is degrading, it is humiliating, it makes you have a diminished sense of self-worth. Why should that conduct now be acceptable when it is done to you by someone with whom you've exchanged vows to love and to honor? If it is dishonorable when you are single, it is equally dishonorable when you are married.
Kete nutumu ibamna bekomemu ibakra keba no be enoji ebe ebayeni eko shi ismuni eyi kajena be ismu ni etemi tafrache ni eke etawo bikokru ne fenu efitawo biahe anokwa ewe hami.
Fear engulfs the person, fear for her body, fear for her safety, fear of what will happen to her in that circumstances. And when that fear traps her, she begins to lose focus, she begins to lose concentration.
Noji kenisani ani ni efio. Ewon kemi to ma bi ake. Kenu ke bofo ni ekwa bi ani okohe ba hanle eko ni esa ewobo eko lo.
It does not only happen to women, but a lot of men will confess that they also undergo domestic violence or domestic abuse. It may not be physical. I know several instances of women who would also insult their husbands. They may not be stronger physically, but they engage them verbally. In my practice, I've had cases of women who have gone to men's offices to insult them and degrade them in the presence of their co-workers. We have young boys who are being abused sexually. We have young people who are the victims of domestic violence in our homes as house helps, as relatives in fostering situations, who have no recourse. And as it were, they are stuck in that situation. This bill and the opportunity it gives for a whole wide range of people to report abuse will help people in this situation.
If a boy is always exposed to violence, he also thinks that it is okay. So he grows up not respecting the rights of women. And the cycle continues. We need to get out of this. It is too divisive. It is too destructive. It is tearing the fabric of society apart, and we need to deal with it. One way we can do that is by supporting the passage of the domestic violence bill.
Proceedings are heard in private, so there is a protection for the parties. Again, publications of proceedings are prohibited, and therefore there is some kind of privacy that will encourage people to go to court, have these interventions put in place without necessarily compromising the relationship that they seek to protect.
A society free of violence is a healthy society.
I would urge everyone and anyone who can do anything about the passing of the bill to see it as a duty, personal, social, moral, national duty that this bill is passed. I will appeal to parliamentarians who I know have seen the bill, have read its contents, and know that there is nothing threatening about this bill, to have it passed in its entirety as soon as possible. It is very important.